We meet again, guys. How are you? Let me make sure we have our streams in here. And we do. It is your girl V with Reality Recap. We are streaming live right now across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm sorry I am late, but I saw that Madam Vice President Kamala Harris was doing her address and went live. And I felt the need to just wait until that was over. Um, in my opinion, it would have been disrespectful to go live while she was giving her address. So I decided to wait. But I hope all are doing well and feeling well. And I just needed to catch up with you guys. It's been a few days. I apologize. My children are having a ball upstairs. But if you can hear them, I apologize. But I was super busy over the last few days and over the weekend. My daughter turned 5. Happy birthday to her. So it was a lot going on with just her birthday. And, I'm a dance mom and all the things, school parties, getting ready for her party this weekend. So I while I'm behind in recaps, I am not behind in shows. I was able to watch everything, have my notes on everything. So we're going to go through a few shows on today's recap or tea talk session. We're going to go over the season finale of Real Housewives of Orange County from last Thursday. We're going to go over the season premiere of Belle Collective from this past Friday. We're going to go over the mid-season premiere of Love and Marriage Huntsville from this past Saturday. We're also going to touch on this past Sunday's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac and yesterday's episode of Real Housewives of New York. With all that said, I hope this isn't a 5-hour tea session. I'm going to try to condense my notes, get through it, but I welcome your thoughts. Again, we're streaming live across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can put your comments and thoughts on these shows in the comments. I will read them. If you have questions, I will read those as well and answer those questions. But yeah, we got some catching up to do, y'all. And don't forget, tonight is a new episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I tried to put a sneak peek of the episode up for you. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it. It's being, I don't know. Salt Lake City is a hot commodity. It's being blocked um, when I try to post it for you guys in certain countries, including the United States. So you may not be able to see the sneak peek, but we are tonight in Salt Lake City going on Bronwyn's anniversary trip that we know she had a big beef with Heather with before she left, and Heather was not invited on the trip. So the sneak peek was showing Lisa on the trip, calling Heather and checking in on her, and Bronwyn catching her making that phone call. So it's another gag of an episode. I love Salt Lake City. The girls are definitely giving tea each week. And you guys make sure you watch, as I will be back tomorrow to recap tonight's episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, really quickly, let me just look and make sure, because what was my last recap, y'all? I know I did Life After Lockup, I believe. So yeah, I was able to, because that's one I just cannot miss because you guys love it so much. So I made sure to get that one done. So yes, I did have Life After Lockup Tea Talk 4 days ago. And I did last week's episode of Salt Lake City. So I'm recapping everything that I'm supposed to. Good, good, good. I wanted to make sure. So let me get my notes up and let's get into these episodes. Starting with the season finale of Real Housewives of Orange County, which the reunion part 1 will air this Thursday. I will be recapping that as well on Friday. So reunion part 1 is Thursday. I gave you guys a sneak peek of the reunion last week. It looks like it's going to be good. I can't wait. Orange County to me was it's right under Salt Lake City. Like Salt Lake City is that girl that's number one, and Orange County is number two for me. So that reunion will start this Thursday, and I cannot wait. But going into the season finale episode from last Thursday, we saw Emily organize the axe throwing little event with the girls for them to catch up. They are back from London. And, Shannon, she left early from London. She left her trip early because of what was going on with Tamara and the back and forth with dropping tea to everyone and, showing text messages. She decided to leave her own birthday trip early. Um, we did see they did a flashback and we saw that Shannon did have a conversation with Gina when she came back from London because that was part of the reason why Shannon got up and left. Hi Lily, thank you for checking in on YouTube. You said you're looking forward to calling out Tamara for being horrible, and I do have your comments in my laps today, guys. That's why I'm looking down. I don't have it up on the stand because for whatever reason I had this thing on the charger for hours and it is not charged. I don't know what happened, so it's here in my lap. But thank you for checking in, Lily. And yes, you are right on time. We're recapping a few shows and we're starting with the season finale last week of Orange County. So yes, Shannon left her London trip early. And mainly because she was going back and forth with Tamara throughout the entire trip, right? And on the last episode before this season finale, Tamara was in revenge mode because Shannon had showed the text messages to Jen, or a portion of the text message to Jen, showing that Tamara had tried to do a background check or orchestrate a background check on Ryan, and Jen was upset with Tamara. So Tamara, in retaliation, told Gina that Shannon was trying to investigate or look into a story that had came out about allegedly Gina pushing Travis, her boyfriend, down some stairs, a DV incident that to my knowledge, there's no proof of it. It never happened. But she says that, Shannon was trying to look into that. And they did do a flashback, and we saw that Shannon apologized to Gina. She said if she had remembered it, she definitely would have came clean about it. And, Gina really said, at least she seemed to forgive Shannon. And it seems like, her reasoning really was that if Shannon did investigate this, she never brought it up, right? If she did have um the if Shannon was preparing to share this at the last reunion because her and Gina were beefing at the time, she didn't show it. She didn't bring it up. So, to her, she's kind of like, she's okay with Shannon. But also, she's saying, anything that has been said about Tamara bringing stuff up, she said it, all of it. She's talked about Ryan repeatedly from last season to this season about him being a womanizer, trying to sleep with everybody, that he's, the whole FBI comments and what's going on with him, and Eddie as well, calling him a scumbag, yada, yada, yada. Like, they've been harping on Ryan for a long time, and she was saying at least Shannon didn't bring any of that up. Lily on YouTube said, I love that Gina acknowledged the fact that she and Sharon weren't in a good place when all this happened and she didn't blow up the way Tamara thought she would. Right. And it kind of backfired, right? Because Gina was mad at Tamara. She's like, well, you knew this all this time and didn't say nothing. You saying something now because, Shannon spilled the tea on you and your background checks. So I agree. Gina handled it well. And it was a good way to look at it. Like, if she looked it up, if she didn't use it. She didn't use that against her. And everybody does that. That's what I keep saying that to you guys. Everybody does that. Child, there's something in the dryer. It must be a zipper or something. Y'all probably can hear that too. I apologize. But it's the life, multitasking. But yeah, she didn't use it. And I agree that Gina recognized how far they've come. She didn't get upset about it. And she did say though, like, overall, y'all have to look at what y'all doing, right? Y'all blowing up everybody's spot, y'all spilling everybody's tea, and there's collateral damage in that, meaning her and Jen, and that, y'all have to look at the bigger picture. And I agree with that, Lily. I really did. And I tell you guys this all the time. There is not a housewife on this show that I don't believe on any of these franchises that don't look up information on each other, that don't come to a reunion ready for battle, and to have locked and loaded what they can say about each other if somebody comes for them. To me, at this point, that's part of the game. No one wants to get on national TV and be embarrassed, right? And have somebody playing them out like we saw with Giselle, right? And with the whole notebook and her reading this woman's text messages and all this stuff, nobody wants to have that happen to them and be defenseless against it. So, Shannon did look it up and they wasn't in a good place. She didn't use it. So, water under the bridge. And I agree with you, Lily. Um, Jen shows up as well. She shows up to the little accident and she's engaged. She tells the girls that, Ryan proposed when they were on a trip to Bahamas. A lot of trips to Bahamas and Vegas this season. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that she's engaged. The girls still have some concerns about Ryan, but they tend to just at this point say, you know what, I'm going to let her be a grown woman and make her decisions, and if she wants to marry Ryan, then so be it. They want to step back. I also didn't like that, it's a lot of, I told you, a lot of counting pockets happening on this season where it's like, oh, Jen shouldn't buy that dress. She should be paying her bills. Jen always getting her hair done. She should be paying her bills. Oh, she always got new clothes. She should be paying her bills. A lot of minding other people's business and counting other people's pockets. At this point, we know. Jen separated from her husband. They're going through a divorce. She was waiting for her divorce settlement and spousal support to come through. So she moved into a house that may have been above her means, but this was new to her, right? She's been taken care of by a man her entire life and her children. She tried to get out there on her own. She made a mistake. She moved in somewhere she couldn't really afford, or that she thought she would be getting her spousal support in time for, and that just wasn't the case, right? Kind of irresponsible. You betting on money that you don't have, but at this point, it's clear that she's moved in with Ryan. He has taken her car note and put it into his car note, and he's paying that. He's affording her life and her lifestyle. So, but I did not like that Gina said that instead of Ryan buying that ring, he should have helped her pay her bills. How you know he's not helping her pay her bills? That's none of your business. I just hate that for her, that everything she does, gets, wears new, is counted towards, it should have gone towards whatever bills or her rent. She got somewhere to stay, y'all. Think it's time to let it go. Lily said that was a good read. Pastor home. Exactly. Exactly. She went in on her. So agreed. Yeah. That was a good read. That to me, that whole little notebook, receipt notebook, and that reunion with Potomac was that's like one of the top reunion receipts of all time. It's the best. Like, Giselle was speechless, and nobody could even come to her defense. Like, they were trying, and it was like she read the phone number. Yep, that's the phone number. Like, top tier in my opinion. It definitely is. Best read, best reunion receipts of all time. I just have to say. But yeah, Gina's counting pockets, talking about the ring. Um, and it's none of her business. Meanwhile, Jen is, telling the girls that she's having a techie bridesmaids engagement party, bridesmaid dress engagement party, which I thought was so cute. I had never heard of that before, but I'm always down for a party with a theme because I'm gonna show up and show out on any theme. So I thought that was the cutest idea ever. And she also reveals that Tamara wants to meet up with her, and Shannon's there, and she tells Shannon, like, "Look, Tamara wants to meet up with you, wants to meet up with me to, I guess, pin me against you, or want me to, she wants to tell her side of the whole um text message situation and her trying to investigate Ryan. She wants me to meet with her, but Jen doesn't want to. She doesn't want to go, and I think she ends up declining that. But I have to say, hearing, because Tamara and Alexis were also meeting up at the time of this little accident. And number one, on the side, Alexis revealed that she's close to engagement with Johnny J. Whew, yay. Which we already know that they are engaged. And she also is the one, Alexis is the one throwing Jen's engagement party, which I said, y'all, to me, it just felt like you threw this party for camera time. None of the girls want to film with you. You're kind of isolated. You weren't invited to London. And you said, let me get into this scene in this film by me throwing the party, because Alexis don't know Jen that well to be throwing her no engagement party. Let's be for real. So I said, okay, that was a desperate attempt to try to get back into the circle, or at least get some camera time by throwing the engagement party. But with that said, Jen didn't want to meet up with Tamara, and we learned from Tamara in her conversation with Alexis that her plan was to show the full conversation of the text messages that led up to the, trying to do the background check on Ryan, which in my opinion, we had already saw her bring that out. I don't understand what she was going to show Jen that was different from what we had already saw. And again, reading those text messages, it did not seem like to me that Shannon was interested in the background check or what was going on with Ryan. She seemed more interested that this lawsuit or whatever had came out, that there was someone from her family or her, her in-laws family that either was involved in it or lost money in the whole situation. If you don't know the lawsuit I'm talking about, there was allegedly some lawsuit where Ryan was named in the lawsuit for collecting HOA fees for houses that he didn't build, and not just him. I'm sure there were others named in it. And again, allegedly, that he was named in this lawsuit for collecting HOA fees, never building the homes, never giving the fees back. That is the lawsuit that what they were allegedly talking about in these text messages. So with that said, Shannon saw someone with her same last name, Bador, named in the lawsuit, and was asking for, like, can we look into this and more information? It didn't seem like to me that Shannon was trying to look for information on Brian. But Tamara's saying, no, Shannon's a part of it. She was all in it. And I just didn't get that. You guys let me know what you thought. But I didn't get that from the text message thread that I saw that was shown by Tamara. Tamara talking to Alexis, she said that Shannon ruined her friendship with Jen, and she has the full text that I talked about. And like I said, Shannon seemed interested in the family member involved in the case. Alexis, of course, is talking about Johnny J and how Shannon does the same to him. She's gonna bring him up. He ain't got nothing to do with the situation, nothing to do with the text messages that was shown. But Alexis is saying that Shannon does the same with Johnny J, write her own narrative and make like it's the truth. I literally wrote in my notes, y'all, bitch, how you know? How do you know what narrative she creates about a relationship that you were not present for, that you were not around for? You have the narrative that you got from Johnny J. You don't know. There is a side to every story and then the truth in the middle. You don't know anything because you was not there. So it's annoying me with Alexis. Like I told y'all this already. Like we have learned nothing about Alexis this season, except for she's dating Johnny J and she's his mouthpiece. And we've heard everything about Johnny J being a good person, being lied on, this lawsuit. We didn't learn anything about her. We didn't see her with her children. We don't know like what her relationship is like with her ex-husband Jim that used to be on the show with her. What does she do for a living? Does she do anything? Does she have any hobbies, talents? How is she still living in Orange County? Is there a, what is your spousal agreement looking like that you're still in Orange County and you're not with Jim? Like, what about you, Jesus Jugs? We didn't learn anything about her. It all was Johnny J, Johnny J, Johnny J, Johnny J. And I'm done with it. Um, but yeah, she's talking about Johnny J, of course. We then we see like a check in with the wives and all their kids, which I thought was pretty dope. Like mid of the season finale, they do like a check in with all the children, and we saw Jen with her son, and they talking about school. Tamara with Sophia talking about music and her pursuing that. Katie and her daughter with her daughter changing her last name to her current husband's last name. It was a nice little check in. It was a positive breather in between all the other stuff going on the season finale. Lily says Alexis needs to go. Totally agree with you, Lily, and we'll see. Um, I can't say that I don't see her coming back, but I personally feel like Daddy Andy Cohen and Bravo, they frown upon when a season is airing and you're steady blaming production and camera crews, and they're painting you out to be this person and they didn't show more of the story, yada yada yada. At the end of the day, you said it. It- there's no there's no getting around the things that she has said in the context and what they were being said. But I just think that she has been truly upset. There's been rumblings in the streets allegedly that she's called Andy, calling production, upset with them in the narrative. Um, I hear that she's very, very heated on the reunion. So we have to see. But yeah. Y'all give me a minute because this dryer keeps on beeping and I can't take it. So 2 seconds, y'all. I cannot take it anymore. I hope I don't knock the camera off. Hold on. All right. I'm coming. Oh, I knew I was gonna knock the camera. All right. Thank you. I need to get comfortable. But yeah, that dryer buzzing was like distracting me and I had to turn it off. So one day I'll be in a big studio and not in my basement with the dryer and the washer going and the kids upstairs. But until then, we're going to do what we got to do. Lily says she's definitely John Jansen's lid. She also said, I'm sure her girl Tamara didn't back her up when Emily called her out on the reunion. Yeah, we'll see. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great reunion. I really can't wait. But what else did we see on the season finale? We saw Gina spend time with Travis. She explains that she loves him, but has to figure out navigating, what's happening with his hopefully soon to be ex wife. It seems like the ex wife is making things difficult. I also feel like Gina got to watch her step, though, right? She's made a few accusations about this Travis's estranged wife that he's trying to get this divorce from. She's calling her names and saying she's rude and nasty and making things difficult. I think she needs to be careful from that about that, because what I hear allegedly, Travis' ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife, I heard she comes from a lot of money and that she got lawyer fees on top of lawyer fees and she can handle that with no problem. That's just what I hear, honey. So I just want her to be careful at the allegations and the name calling with this ex-wife and painting a narrative of the ex-wife again. Another situation. You wasn't there. You don't know. You don't know. So I would stay away from the things that she said about the ex-wife, you know. I just would. Personally, I would. And thank you, Lily. Say you're manifesting the studio for me. I deserve it. I appreciate it. I want one so bad, Lily. Don't get me talking about my little fantasies. I want it to look like a real tea room. Like that's what my set would look like. Like if you go, you know how the ladies go for tea with the hats on the side and the little lace gloves. I want it to be dainty and be tea-ish like that. Right now, I'm kind of going for this tattoo shop vibe with the black and the hot pink. I still want to keep the pink and somehow incorporate a little bit of the black and stuff, but I would love to have like a real tea room as my set. Lily said, I was about to say, that's what I heard. His ex is loaded. Yeah. Hey, Elle. Elle, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for fighting the good fight. You have been my number one source through this election, Elle. I appreciate you so much. And I just had to come do this tea talk today to lift myself up. But if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, Just L and her page has been my source through this entire election. And I appreciate you. And I just wanted to say that. So thank you for stopping by. Hi, Alpha Love. Yes, you made it. I'm reading my comments over here today because I thought my iPad was charging today. Clearly, it was not. So it's not up on the stand. So that's why I'm looking this way. But yes, Alpha Love, you made it. Thank you. We are streaming live right now and we're going over all the shows from this past week that I missed recapping. So right now we're doing Orange County. We're going to do Belle Collective, Love and Marriage Huntsville, RHOP, and Roni. All the things. So we are talking about the season finale of Orange County from last week. And yeah, Lily, that's what I heard too. I heard that Travis' ex-wife is loaded, and I was just saying that, Gina's tread lightly, walking a fine line there, talking about this woman and what went on in their marriage. You don't know, leave it alone. Don't talk about it. I wouldn't. Stick to your little storyline about y'all separating houses and moving out, but don't talk about that lady for you being in a world of trouble. I can't wait to hear an update on that at the reunion because I would assume she already in something for the stuff that she said. We'll have to see. And after that, it's the day of Jen's engagement party. Joe is there. She's invited by Alexis. I'm not thrilled. Did you guys care that Joe was there at this season finale party event? I did not. I wasn't moved one way or the other. I don't know why I should care, but I didn't. Just being honest, I didn't care that Joe was there. It wasn't like, oh, there's Joe. Like, girl, I'm good. Good off that. I literally wrote, not a thrill to me. Alexis' tacky dress to me was whack. She's the host, and that was not a tacky bridesmaid dress. It was not, I ain't even gonna say it was tacky or that it was cute or normal. It was just underwhelming. It just was a summer dress. Shannon and Vicky, in my opinion, they slayed, honey. Shannon looked good this entire season, and if Johnny J paid for the facelift, I thank you, Johnny J. That's what he's doing for. But she looked good. I liked her dress, even though it was giving tacky vibe, like it was supposed to. It still looked good. The black, the white, the satin, the hair half up, half down. She looked good to me. Vicky did too with her. She wore her fur coat. Her too with her lace bridesmaid's dress. Again, on theme, but still fashion, still glam. It was giving, Shannon to me was giving a little Coco Chanel vibe, and I liked it. I liked it. But yeah, Alexis was her dress was whack. I felt like Emily was on theme. I didn't like the flowers around the hair, but I get it for being tacky. And I didn't like the gloves all the way over her, her elbows. But if I had to give it to anybody, I loved Shannon's look. I really did. Heather to me was just over the top too much. That dress was too big. I've never seen a bridesmaid wear a dress like that. Just being honest, I haven't. Jen and Ryan arrived. Jen's giving Malibu Barbie vibes with her, crop top and her crop top dress and pink fluffy bottom tulle skirt. She's giving Malibu Barbie vibes like she always does. I think she's really trying to coin that. The girls get drinks, but Tamara has made the decision not to drink. Since we know how that goes, right? They did a little flashback to her calling names the entire time at Katie's dinner, couple's dinner. So she made the decision not to drink, and I think that that was a good decision for her. She also only has courage to do the things and say the things that she does when she's drinking. You saw she was, I ain't gonna say calm at the season finale, but she didn't have that same "Rah" in her. That's not really who Tamara is. That is a villain that she's playing on to stay on the show and gain, I can't even say popularity because to me it's backfiring on her. But that is someone she's playing in desperation to stay on this show. That is not who Tamara really is. And she's already, admitted that that's how she gets through the seasons, drinking. She always has to do that before she has a confrontation. And if she doesn't have that before a confrontation, you see the panic in her face, just like she was panicked when Jen came in there and read her for filth, in this season finale episode. And her face was just, I don't want confrontation. I don't want confrontation because she didn't have that liquid courage, in my opinion. But while Tamara decided not to drink, baby, Emily was lit. She kissing everybody, husband, child. She is moving throughout the party, yelling and screaming and having a good time. And Romaine Gotten, you're asking my wife? Yes, I am. I am a wife. Why? But yes, I am. Lily on YouTube said, "Oh, you think she's a bitch and you can't stand Tamara." I mean, she's on the show being paid for, I guess, what they want her to do: act the fool and cause controversy and talk about everybody else's business because she has nothing really going on with herself. But like I said, Emily, she was lit. Tamara, on the other hand, not drinking, but she, like I said, Emily's kissing her right husband, jumping around, climbing on walls, screaming and yelling across the room, "Shannon, my dog!" She was having a good time at this season finale. She was lit. Um, while we saw Emily getting lit too, she pulled Katie to the side and addressed her issue with Katie because, Emily's, long story short, Katie's daughter babysitted Emily's twin boys, right? And apparently Katie's daughter came back to Katie telling her that, oh my goodness, Emily's twins said that Heather is mean. They don't like her. They're mean to their mom. While Emily's saying that's not the case. Her boys don't know anything about Heather and their relationship, and that it was the other way around. That it was Katie's daughter that said that, Heather is mean to her mom. Whichever way it went, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been brought back to Tamara, right? And that's what Katie did. Katie had a lunch with Tamara and her daughter, and Katie's daughter was there as well. And, it was brought up and told to Tamara. At the end of the day, these are little kids. Why are we bringing up what they said as if it holds weight or merit? Or I just didn't understand why we needed to bring the children in on these storylines. I didn't understand it. And that really was what Emily's issue was with Katie. You know, she was saying, like, do you get that implying that I've said these things around my children or that I've talked to them about Heather implies that I'm not a good mom, that I, you know, have these type of conversations around them. And Katie seemed to understand that and she apologized for it. Um which I thought was the right thing to do. But again, I didn't understand why it was even brought up to begin with. Katie still goes on to say, though, after Emily walks away, that, and we'll get into the whole Heather Katie thing because Heather jumped in it too to try to make it about her, which it was not. But, Katie still walked away saying, well, I need to have a conversation with my daughter. And she said, and she's 20 something years old. She's not lying. She wouldn't lie. So, was the apology even sincere? I don't know. It should have just been left alone and said, you know what? I shouldn't have brought it up when my daughter started talking about it. Or I should have told my daughter, let's not talk about that. Let's leave the kids out of it and moved on from it. Lily said, what was up with Shannon and Katie's husband interaction? Girl, Lily, I was so confused by that, and we're gonna get into it. Like, you approached him and then got mad at him. I am so love Shannon, but I was so confused by that. Like, I literally have that in my notes, and we're gonna get to that in a second. And in that conversation with Emily and Katie, Heather was standing in, and when Emily said, like, her feelings or what her issues with was with the situation, and Heather's like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? You're a liar and I'm done with you. I don't even know why she needed to chime in. It always got to be about Heather. And Katie said to her, like, because you always got your nails in my face trying to shut me up and don't let me speak. All tea, all facts. But, Heather had to insert herself and make it clear that she is not here for for Katie at all, which we already knew, sis. We then see Tamara and Jen talk, right? And Tamara, she's congratulating Jen. She's saying she's happy for her. No, you're not. You ain't happy for that girl. You've been campaigning for her to leave Ryan from jump. And thank you for checking in. Is it Peperica SMR? Peperica's Mister? How you say it? I always get people's name, their screen name wrong, but I'm just gonna say Paprika. Say, yeah, that went badly. Made no sense, Paprika. I don't get it at all. But yes, we see Tamara and Jen have a conversation. Tamara saying she's so happy and congratulates her. We know she is not. And Tamara again saying that she wanted to show Jen all of the text messages, and it's not just. She also said it's not just her that talks about Ryan, because I don't know why. I don't know why Tamara felt the need to say that when you say that you're not the only one that talks about Ryan. Emily's had some things to say, the others, but Tamara goes hard, and she's the one that kind of brought this stuff to the surface for people to judge him and not like him. I know Eddie said that he should have Googled Ryan from the beginning and saw that he was a scumbag, but I did Google him. And I didn't find much on him prior to what we saw happening here. And this alleged lawsuit that they're talking about. So I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of like, well, I'm not the only one type situation, but you're the ringleader. Okay. But yeah, she said that she's not the only one. And Jen said, we haven't even talked. We just talked about the whole you investigate him, but we haven't even talked about what you said at Katie's dinner about the whole FBI comments. We ain't ever even talked about that. And Tamara, to me, to avoid the confrontation because she wasn't drinking and couldn't handle it, she's saying that, again, everybody's talking about Ryan and that Jen is yelling at her. Jen was not yelling. Did anybody else? What is she talking about? Because Jen was not yelling at all. I don't get what she meant by that. But Jen was not yelling. And she's saying, if you're going to yell, I don't want to do this right now. I can leave. And Jen said, okay, well, leave because I don't really know where I am with you in this friendship right now. Tamara walks away, but she doesn't actually leave the party right away. The girls get together for a picture, but after they take the picture, Shannon takes the moment to say, she's been working on herself and setting healthy boundaries, and that's why she left her London trip early. And she said also because Tamara blasted her for pretty much every day of the trip, and she's out. Um, and she's saying that she's leaving, and I'm trying to figure that out too. Why is everybody leaving? Tamara, why do you want to leave when you have started all of this pretty much? And Shannon, nobody was even arguing with her. Tamara didn't even get a chance to respond to her, and she was like, I'm out. You took the picture. You could have just kept avoiding them for the rest of the night like you have been doing. I didn't even understand why she was in such a fury to leave. I really didn't understand that. And while she was leaving, she was calling out all these different names. She's calling out for Eddie. And then she finds Matt, Katie's husband. And she says to him, I'm leaving and I'm done. And he says, well, maybe it's time for you to go. But in a caring way, right? He was saying, like, you've only been nothing but nice to me. If these people aren't treating you right, then maybe it's time for you to step out. She was offended by that. Like she said, I'm getting mad at him. She said, I'm getting mad because she said she's the strongest one there. And he says, so why you here in my face? Like basically, why you here talking to me if you don't agree with what I'm saying or now you getting upset with me? And then she said to him, are you trying to argue with me? I know he was like, what, did I just step into the twilight zone? I did not understand that at all. I really didn't. She telling him he don't know her. For him to say that again, you came looking for that man who was minding his business over in the corner, not arguing with nobody, not talking to nobody, and then you get mad at him for saying maybe you should, gracefully bow out. Maybe she didn't want to hear that, and she's like, "Oh my God, don't make Bravo fire me. Why would you say that?" I don't know, but I just thought that was the strangest conversation, left field conversation. Don't know why she involved the kindest, nicest husband on the show. I had no idea why she did that. It was very, very, very confusing. And as Paprika said, it just went badly, and I don't understand. At that point, Tamara says she's leaving too, but Shannon comes back and then tells Katie that her husband was inappropriate, which I thought was crazy too. That man was not inappropriate with her. He was not rude to her. He didn't say anything wrong, and she attacked him. I really don't understand. And I'm assuming Katie, she's seen the episode by now, but it really made no sense. Uh can I just call you Jen? Thank you for checking in on YouTube. Said it was very telling about Shannon. Shows, you said that was very telling about Shannon. It shows the people that have an opinion of her that's bad. There's a reason. Yeah, I don't know. I I personally feel like through the season, Shannon has been transparent as far as her whole DUI situation, which I commend. I do feel like on the London trip, she was saying she was going to bed early every night and using that time to research old ass text messages. I do think that. I do. She was using that time to research old text messages for sure. And everybody's not gonna like you. I will say that in my opinion, with meeting Shannon and she found out I had a reality recap or blogging page. She was like, well, I usually don't talk to people from these pages because they don't like me. And I said to her, like, everybody ain't gonna like you. And there's people that have done far worse, not excusing what she did with the DUI, but nobody's perfect. Everybody has a story to tell. Share yours and keep it pushing. But very defensive last night. I think it was misdirected defense defensiveness. And really should have been directed towards Tamara. And I do want her to stop walking away and face these conversations head on. Stand up, tell your truth. And I said that before, stand on business. Stop walking out. I don't understand it. Jen said she must have just learned how to research text. Girl, I guess once she went back to Alexa's text messages and realized, oh, you can get the old history, that she went back and did the same on her messages with Tamara and was looking for stuff and scroll. I could see her now with them glasses down on her nose like this, looking through her phone. Good one, Jen. Probably did just learn it after that. We also see Johnny J showed up to the engagement party. Why I don't know. It's not like, he came to pick up Alexis, but it's not like he came in his car to pick her up. He came in like a Uber Black, or like he had a car come and he was in it to come pick her up. I didn't understand that at all. If she got there to the party by herself, she could have left the party and got in the car and came back to see you. It was just a moment. It was just a moment. I really didn't understand why he had to jump out in his all black looking like a villain, and Alexis all kissing him and stuff. Emily on the inside boosting Gina up on the on the wall to see who out there. It's John Jansen. It's John Jansen. Jen said, "What do you think of Katie? You think she's a creep?" I was interested in getting to know Katie at the beginning because I thought she was going to lead with her story. I thought her story was interesting about her ex-husband and learning about what happened there and why, he doesn't talk to her daughter, more about her career, her marriage. To me, a true signs of a good housewife that will stand the test of time is when you're genuinely interested in getting to know them. When they come in, especially as a newbie, coming at an OG like Heather, I don't like that. That's not going to help you stand the test of time. That's not going to help you get on the show and stay on the show, I should say. And it's not going to give you longevity. And in some cases, you might get backlash if people really like the person that you're going for. If you make that the center of your storyline off the gate, I already look at you a little side eye. And then also, right, I did not like the things that she was starting as far as the whole children. That also made me look at her like, why would you even put Emily's kids in it or have that conversation on camera? I ain't like that. I thought it was whack. I will say it seems like Katie and Jen have a good relationship off the show, that she's been a good support system for her. But I would have been more interested in Katie and her actual storyline if we could have went with her to meet her mom when she went to, when she was going to, are they from Vietnam? I think she said. I would have been interested in getting to know that, not her starting this type of stuff. She did say on Watch What Happens Live that if she was boring, we wouldn't like her. I guess she thinks she's boring, right? And that she had to start this trouble to be relevant, when I was truly more interested in getting to know her and her story. Jen said, "What is the deal in OC? Are there no other available men?" It seems like, I guess, behind the gated community, it's a small town. And I just don't get it. Everybody's rich there, right? So I don't know why it's a recycled Johnny J. I don't. Hey, Summer's Finest. Thank you for checking in. Summer's Finest on Instagram said the new girl does not add to the show at all. Her husband at the party was more funny than she was. Yeah. I agree with you, Summer's Finest. Jen said Emily and Gina were so funny climbing that wall. I was cracking up. They had Gina whole cheeks was out and her little blue stockings. They was lit. Emily was so lit at that season finale. It was hilarious. And Lily said, if you could choose a franchise to join, which one would it be? I would currently want to be on Salt Lake City. Yeah, Salt Lake City has always been given, but if I had to choose, not even seeing the upcoming season that I'm so patiently waiting for, it's always going to be Atlanta for me. It's always gonna be Atlanta. That was my original. Although I've watched all of these franchises from day one, that's always been a love of mine. Is Atlanta. What I have loved to been on when it was really good with Nene and Sheree and Kim and Lisa Wu and even what was her name, Deshauna Snow. I would have loved that era of being on it. But if I have to pick current day, I would agree with you. Salt Lake City is serving down. And they need a little chocolate girl on their show. I would love to. Hi, Sam. Is that how you say it? Hey, thank you for checking in. Kyle Dorit and Teddy going through separations on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I gave you guys the season trailer, and I'm looking forward to Beverly Hills. They're definitely going through it. Dorit is still talking a lot, but finally talking the right stuff. Standing her ground and standing on business. So I can't wait to see it. It's just a good question. And just said Heather had a buzz too. Yeah, Heather had a buzz too in her little dress. Emily and Gina, but yeah, Emily was lit, yelling, all of that, and I enjoyed it. Her and them climbing on that wall, I will say. They did a cute little recap with all the girls with the whole social media scrolling, and then we get into, the 3 weeks later, the article comes out that Ryan is accused of money laundering for about 16 million. Now, long story short with that, in case you need a recap, when that came out. Oh wait, let me answer these. Let me see what else she said. Somebody's finally said I'm over OC in New York. I'm not over OC. I think the reunion's gonna be good. I am over New York. It's on my list to recap, but I'm over them. I am. They're not serving for me. They're not. Jen said Beverly Hills is where marriage goes to die. Yeah, I saw Teddy Mellencamp, who ain't even on the show anymore. So she filed for divorce this week as well. Or last week was it? But yeah, we're gonna get into that all things reality TV news tomorrow night. I'm gonna do my weekly roundup of reality news, and that is on the agenda. But for a quick recap of Ryan, I don't know I know the baseball player's name, but I cannot pronounce it. I cannot pronounce the last name, and I ain't even gonna try. But I believe he played for the Dodgers. There's a baseball player that had an interpreter, right? Um, and this interpreter had a gambling problem, and he was allegedly taking money from or stealing money from the baseball player to gamble. And Ryan allegedly being hooked up in this whole business of his friend with the bookie. There was allegedly money and moved into his account that the feds were saying had something to do with this whole bookie business money laundering situation. So that is what was said. And it was kind of terrible to see, after we see that, that article came out, cameras picked back up. I had told you guys when it was actually happening that OC had picked back up cameras. They were done filming after that Jen's engagement party, and they picked back up to film what was going on. And we see Jen crying, saying that, the girls are going to rip her. And we see them actually ripping her, calling her stupid, calling her dumb. She's stupid to marry him. I honestly was already saying that she shouldn't marry Ryan. Not saying that she shouldn't leave him, because, girl, you grown. You want to be with him? Do your thing. But her spousal support, she got a lump sum, which that's finalized as well, which is kind of the same amount as what we heard on the show, the finalized spousal support. But now someone's trying to say what jobs still use bookie. It's not the 80s. Vegas apparently. But yeah, you made me forget what I was saying. What was I saying? Summer's finest. He made me forget what I was saying. Oh my god! But yes, I get it now. So Jen and Ryan, she's saying, all the girls are gonna rip her. She's crying because this article has come out and that they're gonna say they were all right. And I was basically saying that I did not think she should marry Ryan, but not because whatever he has done or whatever she wants to be with him, that's on her. But it was more so because her spousal support agreement, she got a lump sum of money, and then after that she gets about 6K a month, which portion of that was child support, portion of that was spousal support. And in the agreement it said she would stop getting the spousal support once she got married again. So I always, just thought to myself, well, girl, play house. Don't marry him. Keep getting your spousal support and having Ryan support you. I just would have not jumped into marriage, especially after you were fighting all that time to get the spousal support. Not that she was fighting, but kind of fighting for her life, to stay in OC and have, her place to live, waiting for the spousal support. I just truly thought that there was an opportunity there to kind of stack that money, put it to the side, and still be with Ryan. I didn't understand why they needed to jump straight into getting married. Someone's trying to say, yes, get two supports. Exactly. Why must we rush this marriage? Let's play house. Jen said, glad I found you now. Subscribe. I appreciate you. Ryan is a snitch. That's why he isn't in jail next to his friend Matt. Talk about it. I don't know how he got out of that. But yeah, I'm going to give you my 2 cents on that in just a second. But yeah, Jen is upset. And what I thought was crazy was that Ryan is apologizing to her and telling her, saying this is the Lord's plan. The Lord? This is the Lord's plan? Baby, what? I was saying to myself, no, this was the Lord's plan for Jen to wake up. I don't know what he's talking about. This is the Lord's plan. The Lord plan for you to be hooked up in a bookie scheme. No, that's your plan, Ryan. You did that. You did that. And don't bring the Lord into this now, okay? Um, when the cameras pick back up as well, they go to Tamara and Heather and Alexis and Emily meeting up. Tamara's gloating, which I just thought was disgusting. You know, like you were just congratulating her, trying to be sincere. And even if you were right, just off the strength of you saying that you don't want no beef with Jen, to pull out an FBI hat and to be happy about someone else's demise again shows character, shows your character. And I just thought that that was disgusting. Emily completely changed her tune too. Like she's saying, she's giving Ryan a second chance. I don't think she really did. But, she's saying she's stupid, she's dumb if she still marries him. Everybody has formed a new opinion. Jen, we see Jen visit Katie and Gina, and she's sad because she says she loves Ryan. She feels blindsided. And they encourage her to focus on her kids and herself instead of worrying about, her love with Ryan. I agree with what Gina had to say in this sense. Yeah, Jen is sweet, but she needs to wake up and smell the coffee. Like she needs to splash some reality in her face. But we got to remember, this is a woman that has been sheltered, taken care of, really didn't have to fend for herself or know what goes on outside of the gated community of Orange County. Like she don't know hard times, y'all. Silver spoon in her mouth. She doesn't know hard times. But, no excuse. I agree. Wake up, girl. But I do agree with what Gina said. And that's exactly how I was feeling. That for me, she definitely blew up her own life. Like you were in a marriage where seems like he had legit finances and money, and you were living in a big house, and you gave all that up to cheat with Ryan, and all you've gone through with your family not approving of him because you cheated, on your husband, all of your friends not thinking that he's a good match for you or a good guy, and you have been defending him to the death, and now this comes out. That is a hard pill to swallow. The I told you so's, the public scrutiny. Now, at the end, it was said that, Ryan was not charged and received full immunity, but his bookie friend pled guilty and is facing up to 18 years. And that Ryan and Jen are planning their marriage for 2025. I personally think she should not move forward with the marriage. She should drag her feet and get that spousal support that's coming from a reliable legal source. And I would wait to see if anything else comes about from this legal case. But I agree, Jen. Do I think that Ryan could have snitched? Or if allegedly he could have snitched, allegedly he could have, him and his bookie friend could have, had the conversation of, look, I'm going to take this charge. You keep it going on the outside. I don't know. But I find it very strange because the money was, allegedly the money was put in his account. There's no getting around that. So how he got full immunity, ain't being charged, or the fact that there's an opportunity that something else could come back around. I wouldn't put it past him. Lily said, I hope she doesn't marry him either. Nothing good will come from that. And Jen says, I think Jen's dad has money and he always took care of her. Yeah, I think that as well, that her father took care of her. Then she got married and this guy took care of her. And then she, decided to step outside of that with Ryan and she had to step into the real world for a second. And I don't think this is over. My gut tells me this is not over. There's more to come for Ryan. I really do. She's gonna have to just say she's gonna have to sell that ring like Erica had to sell her earrings. Probably so. Probably so. Hold on to it, girl. But I would not marry him. I would stack that spousal support. That's what I would be doing. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Real Housewives of Orange County. Like I said, the reunion part one will air this Thursday. I gave you guys a sneak peek. If you're not following me on Instagram and Facebook, that's where you get all the sneak peeks of the episodes, the trailers, all things reality news. You get that right there on my Instagram and Facebook page. So if you're not following me over there too, thank you, new subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate you. This is where you can find me on Instagram and on YouTube. Now we got some other shows to get into, and I see I already spent over an hour just on OC. So I hope I can get through all of these shows. I have to stop before 7. So let's see what else we can get through. But let's go through season premiere of Belle Collective that came on this past Friday on OWN. Let me get my notes for that. So we start off with Akeisha. She's back in Missy. I call it Missy, Mississippi. She's back in Missy because her proposal for a building on Ferris Street was approved. So she came back for that price. She didn't get the whole block, but she did get a building on the block she was approved for. We saw Gucci stops by Ferris Street, and they're talking about who they seen or who they've talked to lately. And Gucci says during her peace bond hearing, which I meant to look that up. What is a peace bond hearing? I wish Live Through Me was on here. But we know with Gucci, the altercation we saw her and Selena have on the previous season, she pressed charges against Selena in a restraining order. And this peace bond hearing was in regards to that case. It says a peace bond hearing is a court proceeding where a judge decides whether to grant a peace bond to protect someone who has been threatened. Okay, that's what it is. I was like, is this where you go to make peace with the judge moderating? Never heard of a peace bond hearing. But Gucci says that at her peace bond hearing, Tambra, and Latrice showed up in support of Selena. but she don't call her Selena. She call her that lady. She won't mention her name, which I thought was hilarious because through the show she was calling her that lady, assailant, anything but Selena is what what Gucci was calling her on this first season premiere episode. And Gucci said that Tamara mentioned that she was there to testify or speak on Selena's side because my mic keep moving back and forth. Sorry, y'all. I hope that's not causing any issues with the mic. But yeah, that Tamara saying that she was subpoenaed to be there, and Gucci didn't believe it. Gucci did not believe she was subpoenaed to be at the peace bond hearing. But I was wondering, like, why couldn't it have been that Selena did subpoena them to be there, right? If she wanted them there in support of her and to give their side of the story, being that Tamara was standing right there when that altercation happened. And you also have Latrice, who's her friend, who it was her event that this altercation happened at, and she witnessed it as well. Why couldn't it have been that Selena subpoenaed them to be there? I didn't understand why she automatically, maybe they don't. It sounded like to me Gucci was saying, kind of trying to say that they don't really subpoena people to a peace bond hearing, but I don't know if that's the case or not. But if those are her friends, if they were witnesses, why would you believe that they're just showing up to testify against you because they want to and not that they were actually subpoenaed or asked to be there? I don't get it. When I look at that altercation as well between Gucci and Selena, Lila, you said you never watched Belle Collective. Is it anything like Housewives and Married to Medicine? It is. It is, Lily. You got to give it a try. You're a couple seasons behind now, but you can always binge watch. But I enjoy it. It's on OWN. It's a Carlos King production. And so it's definitely housewife esque, all independent, some married, but just boss women in their own little Belle Collective, which also always has dissension, girl fights, shade, marriage scandals. I like it. I love it. Someone's fun to say who and who showed up and to all people to subpoena why Tamara and Latrice showed up at the peace bond hearing. And I believe Tamara was subpoenaed because she literally was standing right there when the altercation happened. Tamara and Selena were talking, and Gucci walked past. And Selena said something to Gucci like, "Oh, you can't speak?" And they started going back and forth. And Gucci said something to the effect like, "Why would I speak to an extra? You just an extra on the show." And Selena took offense to that. It was a shady comment. Selena took offense to that. You're gonna try it really good. Selena took offense to that, and she was like, "Extra. I was on the show before you." Because if you don't remember, Selena's up there in the back in the picture with the white shirt and the pink skirt. Did you guys watch? Anybody watch Dancing Dolls? DD4L, Miss Diana, and the Dancing Dolls? Selena was on that show. She was a star on that show. She had her oldest daughter and her two twins that we see on Belle Collective. They were all dancing dolls. We kind of followed that through to Selena's older daughter graduating high school, going to college, her twins going through it. She was on the show pretty much the entire time that Dancing Dolls were on. So she was saying, like, what you mean? She was kind of insinuating you wouldn't have this show if I didn't have that show. Like, Selena was once married to Gucci's now husband, JJ. That's Selena's ex-husband. Her children, Selena's children, her daughter, her three daughters, are with JJ. So, long story short, when you look at that and Selena says something to her like calling me an extra. I forget exactly what she said, but it was something like fighting words, okay? So Gucci turns around and she gets on her face. She throws her sunglasses off and say, "Show me, bitch, show me." And that's how the altercation starts. But Tamara is literally standing right here next to Selena. In my opinion, both of them had fault in that. You going back and forth, you get in somebody's face, and my stance is you can't control or dictate how someone reacts when you get in their personal space. When you pulling off sunglasses and you charging at somebody, you don't get to, yeah, you can have your opinion on what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and nobody should be putting hands on each other, but not everybody thinks that way. So when you get in somebody's face like this, and Selena, she had it wasn't a glass, it was like a plastic flute, but she cracked Gucci upside the head. And they get to tussling down on the floor. So filing charges and stuff, in my hood, we don't roll like that. You get in each other's face, y'all have an altercation, it is what it is. You scrap and you get it over with. But, Gucci took it the extra step to file a restraining order and press charges. And she's saying that she has to make an example and let Selena know that this type of behavior is not tolerated. But you had some doing in that. Just personally how I felt. So just not from where I'm from would I be going to press charges because we had an altercation, but she did. So that's why Summer's Finest, I feel like Tamara was subpoenaed because she literally was standing there when they started going back and forth, she was already there. She heard the whole thing from beginning to end. She saw the altercation. She saw how it started. She had a front row seat basically. So I believe that's why she was subpoenaed. Latrice was subpoenaed because it was her event. She's friends with Selena. She saw parts of it. Like, she was hosting her event and she heard the commotion and was over there with the altercation. Did she see it from the beginning? No. Not from what I saw in the clip, but she's close with and cool with Selena. So that's why she was subpoenaed. But again, I don't know why, Gucci is mad at Tamara and Latish for being there, or she's saying supporting them, but that's their friend. And you put them in an awkward situation by filing these charges. So what can you expect? Akeisha, while talking to Gucci, saying that she's going to organize a collective correction. She's going to get all the girls together, organize a sit down, and try to have everybody speak their piece, is what she was saying. So, she sends out a text message for that. Now, also, we saw Glenn and Tisha. Glenn and Tisha is on the scene. But they let us know the vow renewal is on hold. They're not going forward with the vow renewal right now. They're not on the same page. Side note, Tisha wig parts, the parts in her wig irk the hell out of me. They're too wide. Nobody's natural part is that wide, like sitting there like that on your head. I don't like her wigs. Who's ever plucking those parts, stop it. I don't like them, y'all. It irked me so bad. And each wig that she had on in the confessional and the scenes, it irked me. I did not like it. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. But anyway, Glenn and Tisha, they're selling their first home that they had together. They're trying to sell it. It's not going well because Glenn isn't trying to hire a contractor. He wants to do all the fixings that's needed, the painting, the electrical work, yada yada yada. He's trying to do all of that himself, and it's taking him a while. And he doesn't like Tisha coming in. She's questioning, asking, "Why isn't this done? Why is this still like this?" And he is trying. He don't want to be bossed around. So there's a struggle there because this isn't who Tisha always was. I think she more so was behind the scenes, listened to what her husband had to say. Not to say she's not listening now, but she stepped up in her boss era. And he's struggling with that. She's always busy, got meetings, chasing a bag. She's doing the brunches, and he is not. He's used to being the one always working, and her just doing her one business and stuff, not having her hand in multiple things, and then real estate investment, all those things. So there's a struggle there. They're not on the same page. Tisha feels, and she is deciding. They're putting the vow renewal on hold. Typical. But I will say she got on social media after and she said, one thing about them, they're not always perfect. They go through their ups and downs, but they're transparent and real on the show and share their real life. You guys know that in the past there has been some alleged infidelities with Glenn and him messing and, sliding in DMs. That's a slippery slope, sliding them DMs. But yeah, there's been a few things happening there. They've had some trust break. She was trying to move out, get her own place. He was doing private investigations and showing up where she was looking at houses. She was looking at places, trying to find somewhere to stay. He would be showing up, not really wanting to let her go. And he lost his grandmother the last season, and that kind of brought them back together. In my opinion, he used that to his advantage to make her feel a little sorry for him. But nonetheless, they're still trying to work through it. But the vow renewal that we heard about at the end of last season is on hold. And Tisha's basically saying that Glenn can't take the elevated her. So we'll see how this goes. We also check in with Latrice, and she's doing a restaurant called Taste. It's a restaurant, it's a lounge, it's a cigar bar, and on the top level is condos. I said, well, damn. Just say you want to stay booked and busy. On top of the fact that she's already still working on the building that she had purchased that was not from Gucci, um, for her Goddess Length 2.0 building, because y'all know she got her hair company. So she got a lot going on with these businesses, and it definitely is causing a rift in her marriage as well, because y'all know Latrice's husband is one of those I'm king of the hill. What I say goes. In this business venture between the two of them, Latrice feels like he's not listening to her opinions or her thoughts. He's doing his own thing, and that it's causing a rift. It's hard to do business with a spouse, I believe. Any family member or friend. It's a really fine line to walk, but it's a lot, a restaurant, lounge, cigar bar, condos, Goddess Length 2.0. That is a lot to put on a marriage. So I'm interested to see how this goes through the season. But Selena walks into Taste because apparently Latrice has hired her as the bar manager for Taste because they said that, Selena is a vet in the bottle girl game. She's a bar star. She's made money doing that, and she's well known in the city for that. So why not have her, who knows everything about the bar, be her bar manager? And I love Selena, y'all. I love Selena from Dancing Dolls. I'm good to see her as like a main person on the show and not just a friend of. I think she's gonna bring the shade, the spice. Not that the other girls aren't already doing that, but I like seeing her on there. And she introduced herself. She has many businesses and she a bad bitch and a grandma. But you wouldn't be able to tell that, she said. Bloop. So I like seeing her on the show. She talks about her restraining order situation with Gucci, how it was just knocked down to a no contact order. Um, and Latrice tells Selena that she has to go to this collective correction. She's not excited about going. And she threw some shade, y'all. Latrice called it the return of the big backs. I hollered. I hollered. I hollered. It might be wrong of me, but I did. I hollered. I was like, 'cause my back, a little slant. It ain't that big, but I thought it was funny. I thought it was. But next up we see Marie. Marie is back. She said her lupus is in remission. happy for her. And she lost 50 pounds. She looked good. I will say she looked good. Marie cousins meet up with her at the park and they tell her about how she makes them feel less than, that Marie is ashamed of them. They don't invite her to stuff because she act like she don't want to be around them. And I can see how they could feel that way. Just gonna be honest. I could see how they could feel that way just because of what she was saying in her confessional. She was saying that they're hating on her, and with them hating on her, they're just blocking their own blessings. They're just mad that she's elevated and she led them to the water. She's put them in positions to win, but she's led them to the water, but they didn't drink. I believe, if you're saying shit like that, you might be making them feel some type of way. She says that she's not. That's not her. That's not her MO. That's not what she's trying to do. But then on the other hand, we see you saying this stuff in the confessionals. I don't know, sis. But it's giving I'm better than them. It was giving that. And I'm sure the cousins probably felt that way when they saw what she said in the confessional. I don't see how they couldn't. We then get to the collective correction, which I get Tisha is trying to promote her businesses on Ferris Street and what she's doing. But to have these women dress up in their good attire and their good shoes, to have them walking down the block, walking through this dusty building, and to eat outside in the backyard of this building that's in construction was a bit much. We get it. You have businesses coming on Ferris Streets. But the wind was blowing, the wigs every which way. I just didn't understand why that needed to be the location. If that was the case, she could have told them, dress down. But they all out there sitting in this empty lot. And, cute brunch idea. Just, as Southern Bells, the Belle Collective, I didn't understand why it needed to be there. We had already seen the building. We had already known you got your stuff, popping on Ferris Street when you talk to Gucci. Why was it necessary to then have this dinner or there or whatever? And I get she was happy that she has this building. I think that is great. Let me say that, but I just would not have hosted a whole brunch there. Marie didn't make it, which to me was a little disappointing because Marie is the one that has the most beef in the group. So for her to not be at the brunch was a little disappointing. But on the other hand, I also think it allowed for them to actually have conversation and get some things resolved. At least I ain't gonna say the smaller things, but I mean, let's get to it, right? Marie and Letitia was about to tussle at the reunion. I don't think it would have been such a good conversation if she was there. So maybe that's why I was looking for her to be there, because it would have been a lot more shade, a lot more craziness. But they at least were able to have some grown women conversation. Tisha opened up the floor with tears that I didn't believe, but she opened up the floor with tears, saying she has a lot going on and she can't call on her friends like Latrice anymore. And duh, you jumped in her face at the reunion with Marie. So the fact that she was sitting there with them tears, I don't think she would have had them tears if Marie was there. You was in support of Marie at the reunion and you jumped in Latrice's face. So duh, sis. How you expect her to be a phone call away because you going through some stuff and you was trying to jump in her face too? I don't get it. I really didn't. But Latrice she calls BS, saying that the group makes peace and then they leave talking behind each other's backs, which I thought was hilarious. In the moment, I get what she was saying, but when we get down further, the fact that she said that and then she left and went to Antoinette's dentist office and talked the most shit was crazy to me. It was like, is it the pot calling the kettle calling the pot, honey? But I just was like, girl, you just did exactly what you said everybody else is doing. I just had to clock that T. But Akeisha says that speaking behind people's backs and scheming, um, speaking of that, she heard from Latrice. Yeah, she threw Latrice under the bus that Glenn and Tisha were plotting to have a girl slide in Akeisha's husband's DMs to catch him slipping. Tisha denied that, but I kind of could see that being true, right? Because you got all this stuff going on with your husband. Your husband is getting in trouble, making you look crazy on the show. And here you have Akeisha with this husband that seems to be, there's no rumble in the jungles about him, seems to be respectful of his wife, doing his thing, even with a long distance relationship because he has work in New York and in, New York, Jersey area, that they still seem to be flourishing and doing well. So I kind of could see Tisha and Glenn, especially Glenn Messier, as having something to do with something like that. I don't know. I just thought that was But Tisha denied it. Tamara chimes in and says that it's not a safe space. She pointed out, Gucci throw a lot of shade her way or at the group. And Gucci was like, and I do. I said, ooh, Gucci been ready for this conversation because y'all know she mad that Tamara was at the peace bond. She was mad Tamara was at the peace bond. So yeah, I think she was ready for that conversation. She asked about the peace bond, and that Tamara was there with her assailant, who is Selena. I don't know. She calling this woman everything but by her name that she was given by her parents, honey. But she calls her assailant. Tamara says that she's a prominent person and this is a prominent lawyer to her family, and that if this lawyer calls, she's gonna show up. Tamara did, I think, was big of her to say, like, listen, this wasn't my intentions to hurt anybody. And she was not happy to have to be there and give her side of the story. Gucci recognized as well that it was an uncomfortable situation for Tamara and Latrice to be in. And she accepted the clarity that Tamara provided, saying that, like, look, I wasn't happy to be there. I wasn't there to take Gucci down. I was asked to be there. She said she was subpoenaed, and she came to tell the truth under oath at the peace bond. So, they seem to have at least settled their differences for now. Um, Akeisha asked Gucci to give her side on the altercation with the assailant, Selena. And she says, she parked behind Selena and went into defense mode. When she pulled up, she saw she was there. She went into defense mode, and she felt like Latrice set her up by having her there. And Latrice said that that wasn't her intention and that she apologized about it via text after, which Gucci admitted to, which she never said before. But she said, she didn't say that Latrice had apologized or reached out to her. She just made like Latrice was this person setting her up. So to me, that was good to hear, right? Gucci said that, Latrice did reach out to her, but that she was mad and didn't respond. And Latrice said, well, no, you responded, but you must have been trying to screenshot my apology and send it to somebody else, and you ended up sending it to me. Ooh, I said, all new information to me. All new information. So she had to own it. And she said, yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but I did. So it was grown women having grown conversation. And it was good to me. Even though, I can't speak for y'all, but personally, I like when it gets shady and argumentative. It was a good conversation, and they was putting it out on the table, holding people accountable and getting responses for how they was feeling. So, Latrice also talked about how Gucci feel a way about her going to court, and she feels the same when it comes to everybody inserting themselves in her marriage. And the group says, well, it's not the same thing, right? They're saying that, listen, we were put in your situation to have an opinion because we did see Latrice and her husband, him show up at the club, mad that she was there, pulling her outside, cursing her out. We see him, although he's financially supportive to her, we do see him have this mentality of, I'm man, you're woman, I lead, you follow, I say what goes, you listen, I'm the boss. So a lot of people have had opinions on Latrice and her husband's relationship, but I also think that, in the reunion, there was speculation that he put hands on her without any proof of that. Nobody, even if Latrice chooses to be with a man that's his mentality, and she wants to allow him to lead, then that's her business. If she's okay with somebody wanting to monitor her moves and where she go and wants to know she has to report, that's on her. But when you make allegations or you insinuate that someone's husband is putting hands on them without knowing that to be a truth, then people are going to be, a wife could be upset about that. And I think that's where Latrice was going with that. Y'all mad at me for showing up to the subpoena, but y'all on the other hand have so many opinions about my husband. Now it's apple and oranges, honey. One ain't got nothing to do with the other, in my opinion. Okay? But she, I guess, had to use that to segue, which she should have just said, like, while we on these subjects, let me tell you how I'm feeling. But the group says, again, it's not the same thing, that they were put in their situation because of what they saw on TV and asked to speak about it. But I don't know. I personally don't think Cliff is putting his hands on her just because, first of all, he way older than her. He don't look like he can move that fast to be trying to take her down. I do think that he's a macho man, and he's in the dark ages with his mentality. But I personally don't feel that way, or nor do at this point. I don't have no proof of that being done, so I wouldn't speak on that. I think overall it was a good conversation. Like I said, because Marie wasn't there. But Tisha did ask Latrice, could they have a sidebar conversation at another time, like a one-on-one, and settle the other parts of the situation of how Tisha was supporting Marie and probably getting in her face. So I look forward to the conversation where Marie is included. I don't think it's gonna go this well. She's gonna come in and bulldoze the situation. But I look forward to it. I don't particularly care for Marie. I do feel like, she's a bit of a shit starter, I will say. But I look forward to the conversation. At the end of the episode, we see Latrice go and get her teeth cleaned by Dr. Antoinette, honey. She's back. You guys remember Antoinette from earlier seasons? They did a flashback of her. And it gets gossipy, which I was like I said, Latrice, you said that the girls get together, resolve things, and then go back and talk shit. And that's exactly what she did. It got gossipy. They were talking about how Keisha don't have the keys to the building that they had her, she did the brunch in, honey, that she got investors, she didn't fund it herself. They said that she need to GoFundMe for her Fair Street business. Now that wasn't right, y'all. If she has investors, she's still doing her thing, she's still making business moves. I don't know if she got the keys to the building or not, honey, but I just thought that was really shady. Um, Antoinette is still mad with Tisha from a past reunion where Tisha was accusing her of flirting with Glenn. And she's ready to come back into the group. I don't think full time, but she's ready to come in and speak her truth because she said she's been mad about that for 4 years. Latrice invites Antoinette to come on back around to the next events. And we saw a preview of that and how that's going to go with her and Tisha, which is not well, honey. So I'm looking forward to Belle Collective. I think it was a great first episode to just catch up with everybody, to, have Selena in on the mix. This collective correction, we'll see how good of a job it did. But overall, I thought it was a good first season premiere episode. You guys make sure you watch episode 2 on Friday. I will give you a sneak peek, and I will continue to keep Belle Collective in my schedule to recap. If you haven't watched it, like Lily said on YouTube, if you haven't watched it, I enjoy it. I love Belle Collective. You guys can binge to catch up on earlier seasons, but it's a good show and I love it. So I'm going to keep on recapping it. Now, what time is it? 6:12. All right, I got a little bit more time. I can keep going. Let's get into Love and Marriage Huntsville, guys. So Love and Marriage Huntsville. Listen, Love is Marriage Huntsville honestly had me a bit confused with the apologies, the cool 1 minute, arguing the next minute, shading each other in the confessionals. I was a bit confused, but this was the mid-season return of Love and Marriage Huntsville. We're still on the girls' trip in St. Thomas, I believe is where they're at. So we are right back at the dinner table in the first night where Destiny said Mel was okay with Martell cheating and that she was on the phone with Martell's side baby mama and that she was cool with it. And I don't think that was the case, right? And it made sense that, she found out he was cheating with this woman. And it sounded like to me she would be on the phone with her saying, well, let me know when he's over there so that she could catch him in the act. Not that she was cool with it, but that she was trying to catch him in the act. So I don't know where that assumption came from with Destiny, but that's what she is not taking back. That's what she's standing on, that Mel and, Ariana Martell's side baby mama were cool and they had some type of arrangement that she was okay with it. I personally don't believe that. Um Mel's friend, her name is escaping me right now, but Mel's friend is calling Toya the ops yet again. And I don't understand why. What's her heart on for Tisha? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why she keeps calling Tisha the ops. But you want the smoke? Tisha was ready to give it. So she said, like, I don't get why you keep saying that to me. You don't know me like that, which she doesn't. And she would appreciate if you stop saying that. They're leaving the dinner at this point. So Kimmy pulls her aside trying to calm the girl down. And she's saying like, y'all better tell her to stop yelling at me. Y'all better say no. How about you stop calling her the ops? And I don't even really roll with Tisha like that heavy, but I didn't understand why. Oh, there go the ops. There go the ops. You don't know her, and it's giving you want your 15 minutes of fame while on this show, hoping that you get picked up to be on here permanently. I didn't get that at all. Jen said, "What other reality TV shows are you watching?" I'm watching a lot across the board. But everything I'm recapping Real Housewives of New York, Orange County, Potomac, Salt Lake City, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Belle Collective, Life After Lockup. I'm recapping. Those are like my main shows. I also recap and love both franchises of Love and Hip Hop. So Atlanta, I was recapping this past season, and I will be recapping Love and Hip Hop Miami, which returns next week, I believe. It's returning. So I'll be recapping that. But that's pretty much all that I watch is reality TV. I'll give anything a try when it comes on. I'm not a big fan of reality competitions outside of Drag Race. I have fell off of Race a little bit, but I don't get into Traders or like the House of Villains. I don't get into those competition shows. And Love is Blind. Netflix is another show I loved. I love each season and watching. And outside of that, Abbott Elementary. That's the only like non-reality TV show that I watch. And at nights, I love binge watching over and over and over and over and over and over and over again Martin and the Game on Netflix. But those are my shows. But yeah, I probably have to come back though for Potomac and Brony because this is taking longer than I expected. But I'm glad that I'm at least able to catch up on 3 shows from this past week that I haven't been able to recap. But yeah. So on Love and Marriage Huntsville, back to that. Destiny pulls Sunny aside and Sunny says that she didn't, she talks to Destiny about her marriage to Sunny's ex. Well, Destiny's ex-boyfriend that Sunny is now married to. If you guys don't know, if you're not really watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'll give you a A quick recap. Sunny is on the show. She's an ex-producer of the show. She was a producer on the show who Destiny thought was her friend. You know, she's sharing, divulging all of her life details to this person. She's dating this guy Moses while on the show. They break up. Sunny then goes and not only dates her ex-boyfriend Moses, but she marries him. And they are living in St. Louis, but now on the show, trying to move to Huntsville, trying to get a house, and also trying to have a baby on the show and be friends with everybody that Destiny is friends with. Some of you say that what Sunny's doing is not wrong. I personally believe it is wrong. You cannot tell me, guys, and I say this all the time, reality TV stars are humans too. You cannot tell me if you had someone, you were on a reality TV show, there's a producer that we don't know if it's true or not, but Destiny say that they text, they were friendly with each other, they call each other sister, FaceTime, all of those things. And even if not so, right? If this is just a person that it was just a work relationship and she was just your producer and you're telling her your personal business and you're telling her about your relationship with this man and then they go and marry that man when y'all break up, like be for real. You're lying to me if you're saying that you wouldn't feel no type of way about that. Like, let's be for real. You would definitely feel some type of way about that. But, Destiny is telling her that her truth is her truth, that, there was no overlap or not that she knows of. That's not her truth. She did not want her love to come from Destiny's pain and that she's truly not out to harm her. Destiny, in my opinion, she wasn't here for the apology, and she was saying that I think Sunny's missing the point. She's not looking for an apology from Sunny. It's more so I want you to be real about the situation. Like you're downplaying our friendship to make it seem like what you did or to make what you did seem okay, which is not the case at all. So they're missing the boat. They're like two ships passing in the night. If I had to use that analogy, she's just not getting what Destiny is looking for, you know? They get back to the house and Destiny mouths to Mel, I'm sorry. She apologizes for what she said. Now she says she doesn't apologize for what she said in her confessional, but she apologizes for bringing that back up. She's now on the other end of this with Moses and seeing how Mel had to keep reliving the situation with Martell and his cheating and him having a baby outside of the marriage and people trying to be friends with the both of them and taking sides and reliving it on the show and being on the show with your soon to be ex-husband who, you're having custody battle issues with, going through divorce battle issues with. Even though it's not that deep for Destiny, she's now kind of in those same shoes, right? Where you're on the show, your man on the show with another woman, and you have to keep reliving that. And they're trying to infiltrate your friend group and be friends with the same people you're friends with. Ain't no fun when the rapper got the pew pew, you know what I mean? So she apologizes. But Mel says that she ain't taking friend applications right now. The door is closed. But again, I'm confused because Mel will say she's not taking friend applications, but then throughout the episode, we see them be cordial, hanging out, sitting next to each other. So I don't get it. Mel is saying that she's just trying to be cordial for, she's the hostess of the trip. But I truly think they miss each other, is how I feel. I think they miss each other's friendship. They were close friends. And I think they miss each other. They go ATV riding, and Mel, talks about she was glad that Destiny pulled out the text messages of Moses with the dates of like their last conversations, which seemed to overlap Sunny dating Moses. But Sunny in love with that man. She is not caring. She's like, oh, well, I'm his wife now. But Mel said that it brought light to, just after only hearing Sunny's side, that Moses was playing both sides of the field. And are we shocked? Should we be shocked? No. We really shouldn't be shocked by that. But cuz that's what they do. So, she Destiny pulled Mel aside from there and asked how do they move past it, their beefs. And well, not even to that point yet, right? So Mel says that about, the text messages that Destiny pulled down. She appreciated hearing her side and that Moses seemed to be playing both sides. But she asked Destiny, well, how do you guys move past it? And Destiny said we can move past it by her moving back to St. Louis. Well, allegedly, y'all know I posted this. Y'all still going on about it. I posted it a few weeks ago now. Allegedly, y'all know Moses has been in a bit of trouble before in his past. And he got in trouble for traveling without permission, which seemingly he's not supposed to leave the St. Louis area. Again, this is all alleged. He's not supposed to leave the St. Louis area, and he left to be on this show. And he's on a show where it can be seen by anyone, i.e., his probation officer. So it said that, allegedly he got in trouble for traveling, also opening up a credit card, which he's not supposed to do, based on what his previous convictions were. And he did, allegedly. So the streets is saying that he got sat down, y'all. They saying he in a clinker and he has to serve 11 months. Again, allegedly, but I don't see him as much, at all. Like we was seeing him and Sunny on social media together. She's currently doing some confessional looks, and I don't see him there. So do I tend to believe it? Yeah, I believe it's true. Um, Also, the streets allege that Sonny was in the middle of IVF when he allegedly got sat down for these 11 months. I also, my personal opinion, I believe she's pregnant. When she's showing her confessional looks, she's, self-conscious. I ain't gonna say self-consciously, but maybe not even consciously holding the stomach. The boobs are growing. I personally think that she may be pregnant, you know, and waiting for her boob to come home. I just hope, if the 11 months is true, doing the math of a pregnancy, I hope he's even home when she delivers. But those are just my thoughts. Allegedly, this is what the streets are alleging. I put that up for you guys. You guys have bold opinions still to this day, and that, it's karma. Listen, I ain't Jesus. I ain't here to say whose karma is, but all I can say is I did not agree with Sonny and Moses getting together in the manner that they did. Period. I don't think it's right. Um, but yeah, Destiny then apologizes to Mel, again, after now being on the other side of things. And Mel says she received it, and Destiny pulls Mel aside again. I don't know why she keep trying to have these conversations on this trip. Mel says it's for Destiny to have the moment. I don't know. But I also don't get why Destiny doesn't realize that you trying to still be friends with Mel and with Martell would be something that Mel wouldn't be cool with. Here's a person that's cheating on her, having a baby on her, making her life hell through the divorce. Why wouldn't you see that she would have an issue with you playing both sides of the field? I don't get it. I really don't. But they try to reconcile their differences. Again, Mel says that she's not looking for a friend right now. For a friend application she is not taking, but they seemed cordial, but then the shade kept coming throughout the episode, so I was a little confused. Maurice and Monster had a good talk, talking about being ready for college, keeping your mind off them girls and heads in the books. I thought that was a great talk to see them have while Kimmy was away on the girls' trip. The ladies have dinner again. Great views, I will say. It really made me want to go to St. Thomas, but they have dinner and the apologies continue. Mel friend apologizes to Tisha, saying that, she thought they was playing when she kept saying the ops, but that she understands that Tisha don't know her like that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that she was just playing. I believe she meant what she was saying, and she got called out on it and now is backtracking. That's how I felt about it. Um Mel, kind of, what else do I have here? Mel brings up Kimmy, saying that she likes to travel with the men, and asks why did she say that, and Kimmy was saying that, they bring an element of comedy relief. They're fun, outgoing, and Mel kind of cut her off at the kneecap. She hit her with the Kanye West, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but she was saying, I like traveling with the girls. Um, I think that we've been able to resolve things without them. They're not needed. Kimmy had a point though. She's saying, like, yeah, you feel that way because we've watched you flirt with your island boyfriend the entire time. But we would like to have our men here too and do a little flirting and get a little peen at the end of the night. So I felt like Kimmy had a good point there. Sunny piggybacks off of, the conversation, and she wants to come back around again after the failed apology to Destiny the night before. And she gives, Sunny wants to make it clear, honestly. That's my opinion. She more so was wanting to have this moment in front of everybody so there wasn't no telephone game. Make it clear. But she gives this heartfelt apology and saying again that she didn't want her Destiny's hurt to come from her happiness, that she wholeheartedly apologizes. That wasn't her intention. And Destiny paid her complete dust. Again, I think Destiny is looking for her to keep it 100 on their friendship and not downplay it. That's all she's really looking for, in my opinion. And Destiny feels that the apology was to save face after she brought out those text messages showing that there was some type of overlap. Now, whether Sunny knew that or not, there was overlap. You were her producer. Be real about the friendship level that you have with her. And even if it wasn't from a business professional standpoint, it still wasn't cool. So I think that that's what she's looking for more so than just this apology of I didn't want my happiness to come from your pain. Um I also think that Sunny called Moses. I do think that after Destiny brought out those messages, I'm sure there was a phone call home that night. Okay? That's what I believe. Um Also Messy Nell, honey, and that's how we kind of ended the episode. But Miss Nell apologizes to Mel for something that didn't even happen on the trip. That's why to me it seemed messy, where she's saying she was mad at the mellow meters and she called Mel upset. And to me it was a way to segue into what has been happening to cast members. I don't even know if it's all by the mellow meters or just fans of the show, but it was a way for her to segue into that instead of just segueing into it. That her bringing up that apology and stuff was just a way to bring that up. Miss Nell, I don't know if she knows she messy, but she messy as hell. And they started to talk about the male fan base, the mellow meters, and how they can be vicious. And I'm gonna be honest, I have to tend to agree. It gets a little weird with the Love and Marriage Huntsville fan base. I'm gonna just say that the fan base. I don't know if they're all millimeters. Again, the group says that, and that's what Mel is trying to point out. Like, how do you know that these are millimeters? And the group saying, "Oh, they self-proclaim. They will say it in a video. I'm doing this because this person don't like Mel, and that they are millimeters." But I have seen, we saw right with Stormy being arrested for threatening communications. We've seen it with Dr. Heavenly on her Messy Monday podcast with Carlos King, which she recently quit doing Messy Mondays because she said that, there were people calling her business. But it seems like what Stormy said, this fan base sometimes is out to hurt, destroy people's businesses, their families, their reputation. It gets a bit weird. And Stormy chimes in saying, like, being on the receiving end of this, not saying that you can control your fan base, because that's what Mel was saying. Like, I can't control, I don't even know these people, I don't respond. That's the same thing you could do. We're all on this platform, to face scrutiny from others because we're on a public platform. And Stormy says it's one thing to have a platform where you're being judged or talked about or scrutinized versus having people come for my businesses and out to hurt and destroy those things. And she says, not saying that you can control them, but she said she gave an example of like Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, and how when they split, Selena said, "Hey, if you are a fan of mine, don't attack her," right? Beyonce has done that with her Beehive and telling them to be nice. And not that everyone's going to listen, but she's asking Mel, does she think it's okay for these people to do these things? And should she feel like she should make a statement or speak on it? And that's where we left off when Mel says that she don't feel she needs to stand on or speak on nothing. So I asked you guys before I end this podcast. I know I still need to recap Real Housewives of Potomac and Roni. I will come back and do that. If not later tonight, I will do that tomorrow. And also I will recap Salt Lake City. I'm still catching up, y'all. But I ask you, do you feel that Mel should make a statement and say, "Hey guys, if you're a fan of mine, I don't want you tearing down other people, showing up at their businesses, writing bad reviews because you're upset with them, sending them to jail, things like that." And I also think, side note, that Mel insinuated, like, well, the things that have been said about y'all businesses is kind of true. That maybe your body butter ain't the great. Now, she ain't say that, but that was kind of how I took it. But I asked you guys, do you feel that Mel should make a statement? As I said, it does get weird with the fan base. Does it seem like majority of the weird stuff that happens is millimeters? Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. But and I do think that Mel could. Do I think that she's purposely not saying anything and watching what's happening to people and sitting back and laughing and pointing a finger? No, I don't feel that way. I do feel like she thinks that, I'm just going to mind my business and not say anything. But I do think that she could make a statement on it. Now that they're coming to her and expressing this, because I do think the cast walks on eggshells and speaking on this subject because they fear more retaliation from these fans. But now that they're speaking on it, they're hearing their side. If they have videos they want to show her of what they've said, what they've done, and she makes a statement, I think that would be the right thing to do. I do. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think Mel should make a statement? It's to be continued. We'll see what happens in the next episode on this upcoming Saturday. I will give you a sneak peek. But I leave you guys with that question. Jen on YouTube said, Salt Lake City is good this year. Love Bronwyn. Honestly, Jen, I think Salt Lake City is good every year. Every season of Salt Lake City, I'm not disappointed. Not that I was concerned, but I was just like, how do they top the reality Von Teese of it all? And they are definitely bringing it. I love Bronwyn's fashion. I think she's a great addition to the show. Am I thrilled about her showing us that home with all that dog poop everywhere? No. I expected more from her with her fashions for her house to have that same je ne sais quoi, and it did not. But I do love Bronwyn. I just want her to clean up the dog poop and get some furniture and get things out of boxes and put those Starbucks mugs somewhere else off the kitchen counter. But I do I do think she's a good addition to the show. Um, and Mary has been great this season and social too. Agreed. She got her snowflake. She has clocked into work, and I think that she's a great addition to the show. I do agree. So, guys, those are my thoughts on the season finale of Real Housewives of Orange County. Again, the reunion will start Thursday. I'll be back with thoughts on that. Belle Collective, those are my thoughts I gave you tonight on the season premiere last Friday. New episode this Friday. I'll give you a sneak peek and be back with thoughts on the next episode. And those are my thoughts on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Past Saturday episode. And again, new episode this Saturday. Sneak peek on the way. Now, I'm running out of time. I do have to end, and I didn't get a chance to get to Real Housewives of Potomac and Roni. I have watched the episodes. I have my unsolicited thoughts as usual, and I will schedule to come back, if not later tonight. Tomorrow, we'll have a midday tea talk sesh, and I will give you my thoughts on that, as well as tonight's episode of Salt Lake City. I will be sure to recap that as well. I owe you guys so much. On top of the fact that I have to do a weekly news recap for you. So set your alerts. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, set your alerts. The scheduling is definitely scheduling. I'm trying to get back consistent, guys, but it's just been a lot going on. Daughter's birthday, everything. So I am recapping as much as I can and giving you my thoughts, guys. Now, before I get out of here, really quickly, if you have a business or a product that you want me to promote on my page, on my social medias, we continue to grow. I made 24K followers on Facebook. Thank you and welcome new followers. We're growing continuously on Instagram. Those are my promotional rates there. I'm also looking for sponsors of the podcast. So if you have a business or a product that you want me to promote on the podcast, I'm doing upward of 7 or 8 shows a week right now. You can email me. I'm interested in either. What you see above here, reality_recap@yahoo.com. And like I always say before I end my shows, again, thank you, new subscribers. You have a good evening too, Jen. Thank you, new subscribers on YouTube. Thank you, new followers. Welcome all. I will be back tomorrow, but as I always say, reality TV stars are humans too. Don't forget that. It's your girl with Reality Recap. And I will see you tomorrow, recapping Sunday's episode of Potomac, last night's episode of Roni, Salt Lake City, and giving you your weekly roundup of tea. Stay tuned, y'all. Set them alerts for the times. Y'all have a good evening. Peace.